What's up, guys? Today I want to talk about the Lil Yachty situation. If you're not aware yet, him and KARRAHBOO have been having some online beef since it started to go public that she left the Concrete Boys group after being the face of it, pretty much, other than Yachty. And I've seen some split, you know, people online. It looks like some people think he's doing too much. Uh, if you're not familiar, basically she was, removed from their page. She was taken out of the bio. It was no longer following her. This is on Instagram at least. And then a random tweet kind of gained some traction online of someone saying they saw her while they were working at a restaurant, went up to her, asked her what was going on, and how she emphasized that she was not leaving the group, she had been kicked, and that she really put heavy emphasis on that distinction of what was going on. And then they finished it up by saying like, yeah, like I was a fan of you anyway. They're whack, something like that. And I think that ended up going somewhat viral, and I think that's what prompted the like emotional Lil Yachty response that ended up coming out. It looked like he was on IG Live or something, and you can just tell that he's definitely very amped up about what's going on, and he was really trying to clear the record for people. He was saying, she was being super rude, disrespectful, talking down to people, stuff like that. That she wasn't just some innocent bystander in this whole thing, and that apparently her actions have caused her to be removed. Um, that it's a he said she said thing right now. But honestly, I don't understand why he'd lie. That was his artist that he has spent money trying to put on. It doesn't really make any sense for him to, and especially of the artists he was trying to put on, she was by far the biggest as far as recognition. I haven't looked at the other guys' numbers, but at least as far as people talking about them and stuff like that, she was the biggest member of that group. So I really, really don't think he would do this over some petty. Like I don't know why he'd be lying about this, since he's probably spent hundreds of thousands, if not millions, trying to put her on so far and giving her all types of looks that he could have just been spending all those resources towards his career if he wanted to. So she's denying, all that stuff. And then, he also claimed that he wrote her songs, or at least some of them. And, she responded with a screen cap on her IG story, I think, basically saying, like, put it on your kids that I didn't write these songs, yada, yada, yada. And I don't know. I believe him just because he's written songs for the City Girl. Like, it's not weird that he's writing something for somebody. Not to mention, like, you were his artist. So I mean, maybe she's telling the truth, but it just would not blow me away if it turned out that Yachty was. So that's still like a he said, she said. But then I think it ended up coming out from one of the producers or something like that. I caught this from a DJ Academics video, so I'm not even totally sure on the source. But apparently there are some, engineers or some people of that sort confirming that she was using a reference track when recording her song. But yeah, overall, it's just been a giant blow up of the Concrete Boys group that Yachty started. Because although this beef is kind of mainly between him and KARRAHBOO, I I see where Yachty's coming from. This is his second group he's tried to put on, and he's basically being a label for these guys. Like, one of the things that kind of went viral was him saying he's dressed five of them and did this and that for them. And I mean, he's not wrong in terms of just resources spent. I'm sure he was the one putting all that forward. And not to mention it's his second time doing it. So he already had a failed attempt at this, and according to him, I wasn't really paying attention much to his career, let alone that group at that time. But he just said they didn't really have the work ethic. They just kind of wanted everything kind of handed to them because that was how they, had become getting accustomed to. Because that's how it was going, and so he eventually just stopped doing that and started doing his own thing. And I'm sure he had people on his team probably telling him not to do it again because there's just not that much upside for him. I mean, it doesn't really give him new looks. Like, he's bigger than all of them, so he's giving them the look. Not to mention, like I said, he's got to front all these resources. He said he's dressing these dudes, icing them out. Like, that costs us some money. So he's probably spending a good mill or so. Like, I mean, I don't know how much any of that costs, or the legitimacy of it. Um, but like, if he's dressed them up and all real stuff, then that costs a pretty penny, and it's the whole group. I could see his frustrations and how they've gotten to this point, especially after a failed attempt already. That wasn't really because of your lack of doing anything, and more so everybody else's. Like, you extended the offer for these people to really take advantage of the position they were in and put themselves on using the looks you were giving them, and they just didn't want to take advantage of that opportunity. And now it seems that it's kind of having a deja vu effect all again, with everything kind of going down, maybe in a similar way. Although, I mean, he didn't say she didn't want to do anything, but I mean, he still said he's writing for him, dressing them, this, that, and the third. So sounds like he's still doing a lot of legwork for these people that he really just doesn't need to be doing. And then that he also has the whole thing with Mitch and his podcast, where I think that might be over now. Although, as far as I can tell, Mitch ain't really too mad. I saw some tweets from him basically saying that he wasn't going to pretend to, be all in his feelings about it. That's his brother, all that stuff. But it does look like maybe that It's a Safe Place podcast then is just not going to be around anymore. So we'll have to see what ends up happening with that. It is unfortunate, though, that in his trying to defend himself and kind of clarify things for the fans, he did. I don't know how they feel about it, but his main problem was with Caribou, and that's pretty clear. And when he was trying to defend himself, he ended up generally addressing all of the group, saying, "I address like all five of you. I'm, giving all you these looks." And I mean, he's not wrong on that. He is telling the truth. But overall, I don't know if that was a great thing to mention for his group, just because, like, I mean, it was a DC2 Trill, Camo, I think, and one other guy too. I don't know. It didn't seem like he was really having issues with them. So hopefully, his saying that hasn't caused anything else within the remaining members. Because, I mean, let's be real. Like, this is kind of just a perfect example of why people don't want to do rap groups, and why they're not really, around anymore, and never can stick around even when we've had some successful ones. Because, with that many personalities, that many egos, all that stuff combining, it's just really, really hard for, everything to stay, on the up and up for everybody. And this is just why I'm assuming that's part of the reason why Yachty had to put these guys on. So I'm assuming a label ain't trying to do that either. They see how it goes time and time again. And not to mention, one person might be carrying a load of the, star power. So God forbid that guy goes somewhere or something happens to him. They might have this group, but they got the B team members sticking around. So it just doesn't seem to be very profitable, or really, for there to be a point for a label to try to put on a rap group anyway. So I'm guessing that might be part of the reason why Yachty had to front all these expenses for them, was because he's the only one that was willing to give them that chance. But yeah, anyways, that's my opinions on the topic. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Yeah, I don't know. I really hope Yachty stops like getting on the internet as much. He's been killing the music front, especially this year. Crazy run. Just tons of music from him, and it's all been really solid. Can't name a song that I really didn't like. Um, but yeah, hopefully he just keeps focusing on that and stops letting the internet people get to him. And I get it. Like, it's hard, especially when you're at that scale of fame. I'm sure there's the amount of comments you have to go through scales up. But at the end of the day, he's got his core fan base, and they seem to be sticking with him. I've seen a lot of people defending him, being like, basically what I said, like, if I put on like five dudes too, and they try to act like I wasn't doing nothing, or they would go talk in public like, they'd been doing this stuff all by themselves, when clearly, someone else has had an instrumental hand in their rise. Yeah, no, I mean, I could see feeling some type of way about that. But yeah, just let me know what you guys are thinking about this, and have a good day.